See if anybody pops in. Oh, I finally made it. I was only a couple minutes late. That ring light is intense. Where's my other cool little light? Anyway, we're gonna have to deal with it because I have my glasses on. It'll be kind of fun. All the lights, all the circles. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and speak. I don't know if anybody's gonna pop in today, but I am here for a reason, and that is for sharing my fucking unbelievable, unexpected way that I found harmony. I not only found harmony, but that I found actual harmony. I got way more than I bargained for. And obviously, I'm very grateful for that. And coming up, I just passed my 6-year mark from when I first started my movement. And this isn't going to be a long video. This is just a celebration. And I want people to leave that watch this with a real seed planted. So if you're somebody that has struggled to find movement in your life, if you're anything like me, I tried to attach myself to movement. Especially when I thought for sure when I started working in a gym and I became a trainer and I started teaching classes, well, it's going to stick, of course, because I was spending 5 days a week minimum at my gym. And that light is really distracting. Hold what you got. I'll be right back. Let's go with this little guy that I got. I love this little light. Go like this. Oh, yeah. It's there, but it's not as strong. So we'll keep it as that. I'm going to get this worked out. And true. Hear me now? Testing. Can you hear me now? Okay, good. I've got all the gear. I've got the podcasting gear. I've got all the things. I have a StreamYard. But today is just one of those days, and I wanted to let it play out the way it was going to play out and show that we are human and that we are not. Okay. All right. You should be able to hear me now. Let me know, French fry. Can you hear me? Testing. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I took this little guy off. Anyway, this is a perfect example because I'm in the process of putting the finishing touches on my very first e-cookbook, as well as print cookbook. It's already been uploaded into Kindle KDP, the distributing platform that Amazon has. And so it's up there for pre-order. It's my first ever attempt. I'm building it in Canva, and it's not easy. And if you're anything like me, the more
just the more options I have, the longer it takes me to make a decision. Sister, what do you think about it? I'm not getting into that right this second. This is about movement, not religion. Movement is my religion, actually, if you want to know my honest opinion. So I worked on that all this morning. It's very near and dear to my heart. It's geared towards women that struggle with fibroids. It's fibroid friendly, but fibroids at the end of the day are just tumors. And so I thought when it was originally just going to be a regular, hi Lisa. It was originally just going to be a regular cookbook. And then when I got diagnosed with fibroids, I realized, let's gear it that way because, again, fibroids are tumors. They're mostly benign tumors that women deal with, but um, what I was learning about what to eat and how the different ways that I could help myself without getting surgery, I realized that this can apply to anybody with any tumor. It doesn't have to be a fibroid. So, in doing this research, I learned a lot of really cool things about the importance of movement and the importance of, intermittent fasting, if that's something that you want to try. And I'm going to be 50 years old in October. And as somebody that has struggled with her weight and had, all of the cravings and all of the weaknesses and all of the, carrying around extra weight, trying all the things. I went through a slim fast phase. I went through a let's just don't eat phase. I went through an extreme exercise phase. I didn't eat anything. I mean, over my lifetime, I've done the things, and all it does is stress you out. And you always end up faltering back and settling back into the weight that you had before, sometimes more. And the one thing that has always remained consistent in helping me has been nutrition and movement. So, this video is titled How I Found Harmony because I got a lot more than I bargained for. So, in April 2019, I'm going to stick to this because I don't have long to be on my live, but it's been 6 years in April that I've done movement continuously, pretty much every single day, intentional movement above and beyond what I would traditionally do. And I'm very active anyway. And it started with just a few steps out the front door, half a mile with my dog back in April of 2019. And now it's morphed into today. I ran, 4 miles. And the way that has changed my life, I well, I'm going to give you a few things that I learned. And as somebody again that has been a binge drinker my entire life, always the smoking, the drinking, the drugging, the fucking off, the starting something, stopping something. As I say, amongst all different things that I've tried, it takes more than one push to knock a refrigerator over. And that's part of the process is starting and stopping. Don't get hung up on that because that's not going to solve any problems. You get hung up on you do good and then you fall back into your old ways. That's part of it. So don't try to do your best not to waste any time beating yourself up when you give in to a craving or you don't go to the gym when you had set out to go to the gym or whatever, because that's part of it. It took me I joined my first gym, Gold's Gym, when I was 18. And it took me until 6 years ago, as of April, to really hone and make movement and food, healthy food, a part of my personality. It's not something that I have to. It's easier for me to just go than it is to not go do my movement. My body's so used to it now, it's just a part of my everyday thing, just like getting up and brushing my teeth. But again, that took time. So this is the 6 year mark of me doing that. And as somebody who's dealt with fibroids, deals with fibroids, still having a regular period, and all of the things that go along with that. And I won't bore anybody with those details. If you're struggling with that, I hate it for you, but just know that there are steps that you can take to attempt to improve upon those. And so, yeah, April 2019, I walked out the door with my cute little dog who's sitting over there. So if you hear any noise in the background, that's Marabella. And I did, half a mile. And then months went by, my body started craving more. And so all through lockdown, every day, whether it was 7 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock at night, I had a safe place that I could go. I would be out in the snow. No matter what, I was out there, and it was not easy. And there's some days still, to be honest with you, I'm just not feeling it. And that's when you have to discern, is this because I'm being lazy or is this because I really need a break? That's all stuff you've got to process on your own. But this video in particular is about what I learned over that 6 years and how I got entirely more than I bargained for. And I actually came up with a word so I could remember it, PHACCS. and that was completely just coincidental as I was building out a bullet because I can tend to talk a lot. But PHACCS, PHACCS, P being physical, the physical connection to my body, the physical mental cohesion of those things working together was something that I did not bargain for. Now, everybody who's experienced any form of workout, you do get a level of, oh, I did really good. If you even, you go and do a little workout, you've committed to it, you go, it sucks, you might not want to go. And then when you leave, you're like, oh my God, I'm so glad that I went. I feel so good. Magnify that at this mark, at how often I've been doing it, magnify that by 100, because it's just facts that when I go out into those woods or I go to the park or to the gym or wherever, and I'm making a decision to do intentional movement for me because I love and care about me finally, there's no words. There's really no words. And so PHACCS is P, physical spiritual connection, physical body connection, mind body connection. Priceless. You cannot get that in any pill. You can't get that in any, I don't know, psilocybin might be able to recreate that. But it's hard to replace that when it's coming from just old school work. $0, just one foot in front of the other. There's something to be said about that. So the second thing up is humility. PHACCS, facts. The second letter, H, is humility. When you go out into the woods or you go out and do something that includes nature, whatever that looks like for you, it is really hard to not feel insignificant. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I just mean you feel beautifully insignificant. And over time, the more you keep going and the more you keep looking for ways to engage with your environment, because when you first start going, I'm only speaking from my experience. When I first started going, I loved it. It was beautiful. It was whatever. It was a bird. It was a pond. It was a whatever. I'm listening to my 80s music. It's whatever. It's gorgeous. I love it. Whoa, beautiful. But the more you do it, the more you start really appreciating the things that you're seeing, the stars, the I don't know, the birds, the butterflies, the hawks, the deer, the bear, and I was up in Appalachia when I started this. I was up in the mountains of Asheville. I'm now in Charlotte. You can't see that stuff. And when I say I was going every day, I was going every day. You can't see that stuff on a regular basis and not feel humility. And humility is one of the secret ingredients in feeling peace in your life every day. And I'm only, again, this is my story. This isn't anybody else's. But if you haven't found some way to connect with nature in your life in a big way, more days of the week than you don't, you're truly missing out. Because what happens is, like I said, you find this level of beautiful insignificance where you are nothing and you are everything. Well, Rogan just said it, and it's on my social media. He just said it in a post. He had a gentleman on a couple days ago, and they were speaking of that. You can't see the expansive beauty of being on this globe day in and day out, and then you combine that with doing something for yourself. You can't see that and not change. And if you do, you're a fucking sociopath. So that's a story for another time, and you need a different video. Thank you. Good luck with your book. Thank you so much. I'm excited about it. It'll be, it's available for pre-order right now. It's called The Cycle, A Food Adventure to Wellness. It's on my social media. And then it will be available in print in the next couple weeks. So I'm really excited about it. It's scary, but I'm doing it anyway. So yeah, the humility has been really great because I don't know how many of you are into self-help, personal development, all of those things. But one of the first books I read that changed my life was The Four Agreements. And it really shifted what I thought about an ego, what I always had a belief before I knew better, that ego was just like that arrogant, jock at high school, or that was that cocky dude that you worked with that thought his shit doesn't stink, or that was that mean girl that, thinks she's better than everybody. That's what I thought. And ironically, those people probably have super low self-esteem. They're not as confidence is loud, or confidence is quiet, insecurity is loud. But experiencing self-help and personal development and reading The Four Agreements, I learned what an ego was. And I realized I was living in my ego. Every single thing that somebody did or didn't do was because of me. And I got my feelings hurt easy. I was super sensitive. And it wasn't until I realized how beautifully insignificant I was by going out into the woods. Again, something I did not bargain for. I was just trying to incorporate movement on a regular basis in my life and got all of these extra things out of it. And they just keep amplifying. It's infinity. There's no end to these feelings. They just keep exponentially getting stronger and stronger to where I just want to throw my satchel over my shoulder and just move out into the woods because people are insane and this world is insane and AI is crazy. And yes, there's loads of good, really good things about it, but the more I connect with nature, especially being so Native American, I'm 24 point like 3 or something percent Native American. My family are Oaxacan. My dad was Mexican. My mom's white. And, there could be something to that too. And ancestrally, we all have a memory in our body. And that could be part of it too, just getting back to nature. But for me, nature is the key point takeaway that I want you to take from anything that I blabber about today is just get outside. I don't care how you do that. Take your lunch break outside. Have your morning cup of coffee outside. Um, Drink your evening cocktail or your evening cup of tea outside. Like I just can't stress. Try to do your best to connect. And there's so many things that I will go through just in this short video. I'm already at 17 minutes almost, but I have been a binge drinker my entire life. Binge drinker, blackout drunk. Like, let's go. I've been drinking since I was 13. Go watch my previous live from before. It's been interesting to me in the humility and in the movement, and the more that I continued to get my ass up off the couch or the chair or out of my car or whatever and just go do the movement and do what I committed to doing. I didn't realize this, and this is where I said I got more than I bargained for. In that humility, okay, let's keep track. PHACCS, 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 P, pride, physical, all those beautiful things. There's so many P's I can put there, but the physical mind-body connection, as the pride that you get from that. H, humility. A, autonomy. So all of this builds upon something. So keep track, take notes. Autonomy. Look at all of the people. I'm going to speak from my own experience. So hyper codependent. I was seeking with every inch of my energy, every ounce of my everything was about the external. Everything was about what I need to go find my happiness in somebody or something. It was not, I didn't know better that I could find it, that it needed to come from inside me. I was looking for it externally. And in a commitment to the 6 years movement, I didn't realize that every time I laced up my tennis shoes and I kept my word and I'm mid-cingulate cortex. Go Google it. Andrew Huberman, David Goggins, they talk about that, but it's your willpower muscle. It's a part of your brain that when you do hard things, you strengthen that muscle just like you would your bicep. And I didn't know that at the time, back in April of 2019, but every single time that the moment came and it was time of the day for me to go do my movement, majority of those years I didn't want to, but I laced up my shoes, and every single time I laced up my shoes and I put myself out there and I went against all odds, I was building that mid-cingulate cortex. I was building that willpower muscle, and I was proving to myself that I can do hard things. I was showing up for myself. I was teaching myself, now we're at the A of PHACCS, autonomy. And what is more empowering than being able to be autonomous, to be with yourself, by yourself, without, is he going to call me? Is she going to call me? Do they love me? Are they going to break up with me? Are they going to divorce me? Do my kids love me? Does my job love me? Do my friends love me? It's fucking exhausting. And nobody wants to live in that rumination. Well, I mean, if you do, you got bigger fish to fry. But I know that the majority of my life, I lived in that gross spiral of, I need your validation, everybody. I need your validation. And it's exhausting. It's ick. It's desperate. It's just ick. Let's just stick with that. And to live in that, I didn't know that every single time I laced up my shoes, the letter A of PHACCS, I did not know that I was building also my autonomy and that I was going to become unstoppable. And again, can you put a price on that? Can you put a price on that feeling? So, okay, PHAC. The first C in PHACCS is confidence. Let me just tell you, confidence through the roof. You set your mind to something, and it doesn't have to be movement. For me, the big conversation here is movement and what I gained from movement and how I got more than I bargained for. And I found myself and I found peace, found harmony. But I didn't realize the way I was going to build that confidence muscle. And let me just tell you, that is an understatement, because from my life experience, moving a lot as a kid, being always carrying a little extra weight, just feeling like a real big dope, a real loser. I mean, I think I faked it pretty good, but I pretty much I didn't really like myself. I didn't feel good about myself. And that stems from a lot of different things that I won't go into detail with. As I get used to these lives and I start coming here, then I'll talk about it a little bit more. But you can't, again, you can't buy confidence. It doesn't come in a bottle. You got you gotta put yourself out there. You've got to do hard things. You've got to come and do a live where there's some people on, and now there's saying there's 0 people here, but that's not going to stop me. I'm still going to show up for my video and show up for the information that I want to share. And the more that I do this, the better I'm going to get. And the more that I do this, maybe the more people that'll come. And in other words, this confidence that I've built through these 6 years of movement has given me the wherewithal to not be bothered by if there's 1 person, 0 people, or 100 people in here, to just know that I believe in myself and I believe in the message that I'm sending. And again, you can't get confidence externally. I don't care how nice your clothes are, how nice your car is, how nice the person sitting next to you, your loved one, your arm candy. I don't care how big your brunch circle is every Sunday. You can't get confidence externally. And I've looked on the bottom of every alcohol bottle. I've looked at the bottom of every bag of drugs. I've looked at the bottom at the end of every codependent romantic relationship I've been in, and let me tell you, there's a chain of them. And it's just not there. And so after year after year after year of continuing to show up for my movement, because I was starting to like myself, because it became bigger than my pant size and looking good in a bikini, or, having a tight ass. All that stuff is great, but it started becoming more about, oh, okay, I'm aging. Oh, my numbers are really good. Oh, my blood pressure is perfect. Or despite what I did, even though, just the last 5 months ish, I've been sober, but all of that time, all my whole life, I've been a drinker, and I've been eating this, that, and the other thing. And I still managed to, I don't know, the benefits were blowing my mind. And as somebody who I feel like is pretty smart, I think we as a society find it hard to believe that something that is $0 can really give us the things that we want. And especially if it's going to take time. A lot of people are going to want to do that, to keep them from eating, and they're going to want to just, I don't know what all take the pill, do the thing, all the magic tricks that there are to lose weight and do all the stuff. But it's not sustainable. I just don't see it as sustainable. And there's something about me, call it a trauma response, call it whatever, that I like doing the hard things. And I think I've reaped the benefit from doing the hard things so often that now that's the only way that I want to do it. It's not the easiest route to take, but I will say it's the most sustainable, and it does become a part of your personality and your lifestyle more than if you try to do it in a quick version, just take a shortcut. So we've got, okay, PHACCS, PHACCS. We are now the second C, which is commitment. Teaching yourself the power of commitment. Boy, did I do that, because if there was anybody who gave up on me rapidly throughout my entire life, it was me. I gave up on myself a lot. I constantly feel like was seeking confidence, seeking just the things that we all want when we have low self-esteem. We want to look good. We want to feel good. We want people to like us. We want whatever sex we're attracted to be attracted to us. We want those. We want all those things. And there's until we know otherwise, all of the things that we feel like will make us happy, marriage, kids, top of the ladder at the job, the car, the house, the trips, the whatever. I think a large majority of us think that the only way we're going to attain those things is if we look amazing. And so I would say a large majority of the population exercises, works out, takes the whatever they're doing to be attractive to somebody or something, to be a winner. And I have found, I've tried all the things, the diets, the exercises, all the things. And nothing has worked like just a commitment to whatever that is for you. A commitment for me, again, we're celebrating this movement and finding myself and finding peace and finding harmony. That me having the ability day after day after day after day, especially on those days that I didn't want to, especially when I was going through a separation and a divorce. Ooh, those were hard days. Those were hard. I was having to try and find a place to live, and we'd just gotten out of lockdown. That is not the time where you're feeling at the top of your game, where you're like, yeah, I think I need to lace up my shoes. I'm excited. Let's go run in the woods. No. But I did it anyway. And again, like I said, I can't stress enough. I don't care the only time I wouldn't go is if it was cold and rainy. That's ick. If it was like, 34 degrees and raining, it wasn't snowing and turned to snow. But other than that, I'd go out 22 degrees, snow. And this isn't a brag sesh. This is just more than anything. I'm shocked when I look back on it and I go, damn, I can't believe that I showed up and I stayed I stayed committed, which is the second C in this. And I'll drop it in the notes. I showed love to myself by committing to myself. Now, isn't that a way in our society that we show love to the people? And it's loyalty, right? It's commitment. It's commitment to our kids, commitment to our jobs, commitment to our promises that we make to people we love, commitment to our romantic partners, our whatever. That's how we show love. So why should it be any different for ourselves? I think that we spend so much time trying to show love and do love and be all these things for everybody else external, but I think we a lot of times forget to do it for ourselves. And so, yeah, the second C in this, what I learned and getting more than I bargained for throughout this movement thing of 6 years of movement, is showing myself that I could commit to myself. And think about it like this. If I set up goals for myself, I spent a lifetime like everybody else setting up goals. I'm going to walk so many times this week. I'm only going to eat 1,000 calories. I'm only going to I mean, we could go down the frickin' list of things promises that we make to ourselves to try and become the best versions of ourselves. There's constantly, when you get to be of a certain age, especially, there's constantly something tapping you on the shoulder going, hey, maybe you should do this. Hey, this is not making you happy anymore. Maybe you should try this. And a lot of times, like I say, it takes more than one push to knock a refrigerator over. More often than not, in the beginning, we give up on ourselves. We show ourselves how not committed to ourselves that we are. And we hold on to that, whether we know it or not, whether you have to be mindful of that. And so I'd spent a lifetime showing myself how much I sucked because I kept attempting to do something I had all the good intentions, but 50 cents in one hand and good intentions in the other, which, you know what I'm saying? So commitment was huge. Commitment over these 6 years of showing up no matter what. I would be running through the woods, y'all, when I was having really bad days. I would be running through the woods crying, but I was still doing it. I was still showing up. And again, I say running. This went from a 1 mile walk to being able to run in the woods at this point, all these years later. It does take time to grow. That consistency will obviously build your, how can I say this? Hold on, let me take a sip of my ginger ale. You guys ever had this? It's so good. Reeds. Oh my God, it's delicious. And crushed ice too on top of that. It's the only thing I go to Chick-fil-A for anymore. 2 bags of crushed ice. Anyway, it took time to build up to my ability to do that. And that is part of it too. Looking back, if I have a bad day, not if, when I have a bad day, because I still have bad days, I'm able to kind of look back and pull from that bank of all those 6 years that I showed up for myself. I can look for the proof, the evidential proof in my life that when shit gets hard, the person that I've created, the person that I've worked hard to become, will show up for myself because I'm committed to myself. And that feels good. And finally, the last letter to keep me on target is spirituality and growth. And that's a big one that I didn't bargain for, is the spiritual connection to myself. Now, I'm not super religious, but I'm going to say this, and for any of you out there that are similar to me, you will understand I am a Joe Rogan fan through and through. I listen to 97% of the episodes. So I hear them get into conversations about all the things, ancient civilization, all the theories, all of the Bible and Buddhism, and they talk about everything. If you're a fan, you know. And that is something that I did not expect. The beauty that came with me going out and seeing the magic of the plants, because I was out there every day. So I would watch as the season changed, I would watch these trees change, and I would watch these flowers bloom, and I would watch butterflies come out of nowhere. I would watch bees sleeping inside of dahlias at night. And I remember that I've got loads of pictures, but I remember the first time I passed by the dahlia garden at this place where I used to run in Asheville, and there was 3 bees asleep inside of a dahlia. And I was, at this point, I'm very obsessed with micro photography. So when I'm out doing my runs or hiking or walking or whatever it is I'm doing on any particular day, I love taking photos of nature. And I zoomed, and I intended on taking a picture of this dahlia. And as I zoomed in with my Galaxy, those suckers get super close, I noticed 3 bees asleep, head to butt, inside of this dahlia. Now, this is just a few years ago. I had no clue as a grown ass woman that that was a thing, that especially elderly bees will sleep inside of flowers. You want to talk about stunning? I'm going to do my best to try and maybe I'll share a compilation on my shorts because I've got all my pictures. But if you see that on a regular basis and you don't feel spiritual and you don't feel a sense of growth and you don't feel, again, kind of all these things, like if that doesn't humble you, I don't know what will. And also to know that these little guys and the pollen all over their little cute butts, they're working for us. They're pollinators. They're making shit happen for us. And it's a shame. I guess the more I've gone out there, the more I've seen all these changes from day to day over all the years, that I've been able to really value nature for what it does for us. And there was a time, like most people, you don't even notice it. You don't notice the birds. You don't notice the hawk flying over and doing the such and such. You don't notice, I don't know, just the circle of life. I mean, how many people literally will sit? I would love to know the percentages. How many people sit and watch like make it a point to watch the sunrise? Or in my sobriety, I've got all this free time, and I've become obsessed with birds. So I've got 50 million bird feeders in the backyard, and I've really been just falling madly in love with watching how they interact and watching the different times of the day where particular birds will come and feed, and the way they wrestle, and the squirrels and their psychotic activity back in the backyard, just fighting each other and chasing each other. And uh, a mom had her 2 babies right in my hanging basket out here. I watched them go from the tiniest little baby dove. There's 3 of them. I'm assuming it's the mom, could be the dad, and the 2 babies I watched. They were outside the front door, and I watched them every day after day after day after day grow and get more. And then I watched the day that they got on the little ledge. And then the next day they were on the windowsill and they were going to find their way in the world. And mom was around. And now, just yesterday, I saw all 3 of them together in the backyard. And now those 2 baby doves that I literally watched, they went from eggs to furry little crazy little baby heads to to full-grown doves. And in all my years on the planet, I never had an opportunity to see that. So you can't, all I'm saying is, to not sound cheesy and sound like a grandma and sound like some shit sewn on a pillow, let go of any expectation you have about anything. Because I went into this movement thing back in April 2019 with an expectation of I'm going to do this and I'm going to lose weight and I'm going to meet the man of my dreams and life is going to be amazing. And the interesting thing is about it, when you do go out and you commit yourself to, especially something that's healthy, something that's good for you. And for you, it might be kickboxing. It might be um running triath. I don't know. It could be, it's different for everybody. For me, I like to run and I like to do yoga. Those are my two things. I love hot yoga and I like to run. And I like to challenge myself in general. Um Showing up for yourself in that way, what initially gets you started as somebody that's seeking a meaningful life in the external, when you start showing up for yourself, well, you start finding all that meaning from inside, from internal. And then you don't need all that other shit. If it comes, fantastic. But what happens when you show up for yourself and you learn that pride, you get that physical mind body connection, you get autonomy, you get confidence, you realize your commitment to yourself, and then spirituality and growth, all of those things together, all of that's coming from the internal because you showed up for yourself. And again, regardless of what it is, it doesn't have to be going out into the woods. Nature might not be your thing, but I challenge you on that. Lose any expectation you have because, yeah, again, like I said at the top of the video, nature's great. I'm a beach girl. I grew up in Southern California, formative years in Charleston. I dig nature. Who doesn't, for the most part? I think even the most disconnected person, if they see a certain thing in nature, they're going to go, oh, you know what I mean? Um, but to really see it and to be a part of it, I just feel like it changes you. It changes you. And it definitely has changed me because it's made me realize that when I do have days where I'm stressed and I have problems and I'm frustrated and all of those things, I can look to that and go, it's going to be okay. Everything is temporary. Nothing is permanent. And so not to sound cheesy, but as a storm passes, so will these bad things. And so will the fucking good things, if I'm being honest. Everything, this too shall pass. These sayings are here for a reason. What I want you to take away from this video is that a commitment to something, and for me, it's been my movement, has changed my fucking life. It has moved me in a way that I never expected. And again, social drinker for decades, in it, always feeling like, God, why do I feel like I have to, and I'm not at all an alcoholic. Definitely have had an unhealthy relationship with alcohol, and I've wanted to, and I attempted to try to quit a million times over my life. And then something happened, and I just found, in showing up for myself, that honestly, I hate to sound like a fucking stereotype, but one thing I know that I've got in common with a load of people that I've drank with and I've cheersed with, and we've whined and bitched and moaned on our porches and at pubs and all over the place, just getting drunk and bitch, complain, I'm a victim, blah, 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 is just that. It's a victim mentality. It's I don't love myself. Why doesn't everybody love me? Why does this keep happening to me? And nothing good grows in that mentality. Nothing good grows in a victim mentality. You have to start showing up for yourself and create your own world and create your own identity and move away from victim bullshit. And once I started doing that, once I said, you know what? Come hell or high water, I'm going to show up for myself and I'm going to see what happens. And I got like I said, I got a whole hell of a lot more than I bargained for. It took my vanity and my desire to be lovable in my mind to make me commit to daily movement. And in doing that, in the end, all that mattered is that I loved myself. It doesn't matter that anybody else loves me. And you want to talk about being empowered by something? If you feel like the world is not working out for you, or you feel like shit's just not, you hear people say it, it's so ick. That's my luck. Well, I guess that's the way it goes. It is what it is. But it's not. That doesn't have to be like that. So find something. The last little thing I wrote on this piece of paper here, my bullet points, so I wouldn't talk, is just a reminder to two things. Let go of any expectations you have, first of all, of anything. It doesn't matter what that is. Let go of your expectations and keep your imagination. Lose your fucking illusion, but keep your imagination. And be honest with yourself about what it is what is your intention? The things that you're trying to do, no matter what they are, whether you're trying to quit something or you're trying to start something, most of us are, if we're of a certain age, we're trying to attempt to become better in some way, shape, or form. And my best advice, whether it's movement or whatever, it doesn't have to be physicality related, is just whatever it is that you're trying to do it no matter what. Don't make it a huge thing. Make it just one little thing that you feel like if you were to tweak this in your life, that shit would start changing for you. Quit giving up on yourself. Because if you don't believe in yourself, who the hell else is going to believe in yourself? And I've got one more little saying for you before I go, because I'm full of them, is people learn how to treat you by how you treat yourself. And if you're constantly giving up on yourself, why would anybody else not give up on you? So I'm going to leave you with that. I'm going to put PHACCS, PHACCS, into the comments so you guys can refer back to them. But it's pride and that physical mind-body connection, humility, autonomy, huge, confidence. Nobody wants to be codependent. Confidence, commitment, and spirituality. And I hope that let me know. Reach out to me. Let me have you on my podcast. I have a podcast called the Radical Harmony Podcast. I've taken a little break from it as I finish up my e-cookbook, but I would love if you have a story or you have something you want to share, or whether you want to be anonymous, you want to share whatever. We've all got a story to tell. And if you are interested and you want to be on the show, go to harmonygarcia.com, click the podcast tab up at the top, and you'll see a little very quick Google form that you can fill out, just a handful of questions, and it will auto send to me. And we will schedule you in. And I would love to have you on the show because everybody's got a story to tell. And again, don't get just like today. There was 2 people on, and then there was 1 person on, and then there was 4 people on, and then there were 0 people on, and I've got a couple likes. There would be a time in my life where that would break me, and I would lose my momentum, and I would be like, what's the point? But that's not the case, because I've had this happen before when I used to go live a lot, that I would do a video and nobody would really comment on it. And then, I don't know, a year later, somebody would see it and write me and go, oh my gosh, thank you for sharing your story. So this isn't about becoming, Joe Rogan part 2. This isn't about me. That's kind of like the main thing. It is my page, and my podcast is mine, and the e-cookbook is mine, and it's my creative outlet from my brain, but it's not about me. I've been very clear on my intentions, and my intentions for showing up at this stage in my life, way different from when I first started coming on social media. But my intentions at this point is to help people, to be a light, be what I needed when I was in a really dark, scary place. I just want to be a voice for people out there, girl, guy, old, young, doesn't matter, that may be feeling fractured, that may be feeling stressed and hopeless, and especially 9 times out of 10, again, if you are trying to improve yourself, or you are trying to become something, or you're trying to chase your dream or start your business or whatever it is you're trying to do, more than likely the people in your circle, they might, good job, but there's more than likely going to be what I like to refer to as bubble busters. And these are people that go, oh, why would you do that? There's already other people doing that. Or do you really think that's going to work? Or, oh, who do you think you are? Or, oh, you're going to start doing this? What do you think? People get so butthurt when people that they care about start to change, or start to grow, or start to evolve, or start to choose better for themselves. And, I have lost majority of my friends. Thankfully, I have a beautiful new set of friends that are all actively doing beautiful things in their lives. But I had to ditch the majority of my friends because our friendships were rooted in victim mentality. They were rooted in woe is me bullshit. And I outgrew that. And nothing against them. They're great, amazing people. And I hope that they've also outgrown it. But no growth happens in a cesspool. Nothing grows besides scum in stagnation. And you just have to kind of get yourself into a new frame of mind. And so, yeah, here today, I've been on for 45 minutes now. And, might have been a handful full of people in here, but that's not the point. The point is, I came on. It's not about fanfare. It's not about looking perfect. It's not about talking perfect. It's about sharing my story and wanting people to know what I've gained from movement. And in the hopes that I plant a seed that if there is that one thing that you've been trying to start, maybe you want to start taking yoga on a regular basis, or maybe you want to take a dance class, or maybe you want to learn how to do pottery, or you want to start writing your own book. Like, I don't know. There's so many different things. It doesn't have to be physical. Insert where, I said movement and what I found doing my movement for 6 years. That could be anything. It just has to be something for you that is not for, to make a good impression on somebody or your whatever the fuck, just for you. That ginger ale will make you barf, though. I have another sip. Damn, that shit's good. Get it. Reed's Extra Ginger Beer. Oh, this is the craft ginger beer. It's non-alcoholic. Anyway, I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you for watching. If you watched the live today, Fred the French Fry. I don't know who you are, but thank you for your reassurance and your well wishes about my book. That makes me feel good. Lisa, thank you for popping in. And yeah, if you're watching the replay, please drop a comment below. I would love to hear what it is that you're trying to try. And again, if you're interested in being on my podcast, season 2 is going to be coming in the coming probably 6 weeks. I'm going to start doing recordings for my second season of the Radical Harmony podcast. And I would love to hear your story. If you have something that you've started and successfully done and it's changed you in some way, or you there's got to be a bunch of unique stories out there, things that you've learned about yourself by setting a goal, committing to that goal, and like playing it out to the end and seeing how that has the power to change you for the better and how it trickles into every other part of your life. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Saturday, and I will see you on the next live. I don't know what we're going to talk about, but if you have any suggestions, don't hesitate to pop them in the comments. All right. See you later.